Kia ora tātou, welcome to this video where we'll look at how to draw Lewis diagrams for level 3 molecules in which atoms can form more than four covalent bonds. So makes things a little bit trickier, but the concepts are still relatively similar. So let's go through. There's 3 steps that I've narrowed it down to that can allow you to draw the Lewis diagrams. So the first step is, if you've got a molecule, count the total number of valence electrons in the molecule. That's in all of the atoms. Just using your normal, like the normal valence electron theory from year 11 and year 12. Then draw the molecule with the outer atoms around the central one, and then draw the electrons around the outer atoms and add any spare to the central atom. So let's give it a go. We will start off with IF5. Okay, let's make my pen a little bit thicker. So yeah, the first step is that we need to count the number of valence electrons. So both of these are in group 17, so they both have 7 electrons around in their valence shell. So we've only got 1 iodine, so that's just going to be 7, and then we've got 5 fluorines, that's 7 times 5, so we've got 35 there. So all up, we're going to have 42 electrons. So that's the first step, and then the second step is that I would draw the molecule and just draw them. It's kind of obvious which one goes in the center because it's the one with only one of them. Basically, I can't see any other exceptions to that. So we draw 4 fluorine atoms around this iodine. 5 fluorine atoms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For Lewis diagrams, it doesn't matter. You don't need to draw the wedges or the Wi-Fi lines. You can just draw them as though they're all 2D on the page. And then we draw in the electrons around the outer atom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go quickly around. Last one. And then we need to add up all of those electrons. So around each of these atoms, we've got 6 electrons that we can see, and then there's 2 electrons that form that bond. So we've got 5 times 8 electrons, so that equals 5/8 of 40. So that means that we've got 2 electrons spare. So if we go to step 3, so we've done step 1, we've counted the total number of valence electrons. Step 2, we've drawn the molecule. Then step 3, we've drawn the electrons around the central atom, and we just need to add in those extra 2 electrons, and we put them around the central atom like that. So that now gives us our total of 42 electrons. We've used them all up, and there you go, there's our Lewis diagram. We'll look at how to name shapes in the next video. In this video we're just looking at how to do diagrams. So let's look at how to do an ion. So PCl6 minus. So we still follow the same structure, but it's just slightly different. So we count up the number of electrons. So phosphorus is in group 15, so that's going to have 5 electrons, and then Cl is in group 17, so it has 7 electrons around its outer atom, so it's 7 times 6. But then because there's a negative charge, we're going to have an extra 1 electron. So that's the one thing that we changed about this. So 7, 6, 6, 6 is a 36, 7, 6 is a 42, so it's going to be 42, 7, 48 overall. So we're going to have 48 electrons. So let's draw all of the chlorines around the phosphorus atom. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the difference about this when we've got an ion is that we just put the whole thing in square brackets, and we say that it's got a negative charge. That's all that we need to do. That's all that the ion makes different, is that first of all we add an extra electron because it's an anion, and then we put the whole thing in brackets, and that's it. Okay, so now we need to do the electrons around the outside. And you do still need to do this. You wouldn't be marked correctly if you omitted the electrons. So we've got 6 chlorines with 8 electrons around each of them. So there's 6 lone electrons, as you can see, and then 2 of those 2 electrons are within those bonds. So each chlorine has got a total of 8 electrons around it. So 6 times 8 is 42. Is that right? No, 48. 6 times 8 is 48. 6 sevens are 42. We just did that before. 6 eights are 48. Brilliant. There you go. I could probably teach you 9 maths one day. And so we've got no more. Our total electrons is 48, and then the electrons we've used up in this ion are 48 as well. So we're done. So this is the Lewis structure for that. Let's do one more. Why not? There won't be any major difference in this one. BrF4 minus. So we've got a bromine atom with 7 electrons, and then a fluorine atom with 7 electrons. But we've got 4 fluorine atoms. We've also got a negative charge, so we've got 1 extra electron. So that's 28, 7, 1. So overall, the number of electrons that we've got are 36. So let's draw the bromine atom in the middle, and then F, and F. And then we need to do the whole thing with a negative charge around it. Then let's draw on the electrons. Oops, so that's 2. Okay, so now we've got 4 times 8, so 4 atoms, each with 8 electrons around them. So that is 16, that's 32. So we're missing 4. The difference between this and this is 4 electrons. So we need to do 4 electrons around that bromine central atom. And that's how you do Lewis diagrams. So in the next video we will look at how to name these new shapes. Thanks for watching, see you then.